Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Roster Lock Podcast. I'm, of course, your host, Mac, joined with Cam and Lucas. And guys, welcome back. We kind of went on a little hiatus there in the last week or so, but we are back, better than ever. I'm glad to have you guys back. Welcome. We are finally here, talking football, starting tonight, Thursday night. Man, I am so pumped for football. I wish it was happening right now. What about you guys?
Yeah, let's get you on the broadcast booth, pup. I mean, that was pretty good. Got me hyped. Got my blood boiling a little bit. But it's what we're here for. We're here for some football, and I can't wait to get in it.
Yeah, that shit fired me up. Goddamn, I wasn't expecting it. Have you in the booth next to fucking Boomer?
Hey, I heard they were hiring an ESPN looking for people.
Hell yeah,
They need some people. They got it ass.
Hell yes. So, I mean, I'm pumped. I know you guys are pumped. So let's start off this. Let's just get in some news and notes. First of all, I want to cover Von Miller. I mean, such a shame. I mean, it looks like he's going to be out for the year. They might try to get him back. 3 months recovery at the very best. And it's just a shame for that defensive end because, you know, they had drafted Bradley Chubb, and he was out that first year, and then Von Miller was tearing up without him, and then the next year, vice versa. So Von Miller was injured, and then Bradley Chubb was doing good, and it looks like that's on repeat. So it's kind of a shame that we never saw them for a full year completely healthy, wrecking offenses together. I mean, that's just a big blow for the Broncos defense.
It is. It's something that it's just sad. It's a shame. I mean, just a couple of years ago, we saw this guy destroying the league. He had that Super Bowl performance against Cam, got that strip sack. I mean, he balled out. It's sad. He's probably not going to be the same. It's injury after injury. I remember ever since he went on the Sports Center and said he's going to get like 23 sacks or something, he has been anything but. And it's sad, especially with the draft pick they had with Bradley Chubb a couple of years ago. And they really had a potent defensive line, and he hasn't been the same since DeMarcus Ware left. So it sucks, but that's football. That's the game they play. That's the game we've played, and that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, no, it does suck to see. Plus, Von Miller's a really likable guy, no matter what fan you're a team of. But I was excited for the Broncos this year, and they still have a good shot, but they got some good draft picks on offense. This is just a blow to their defense, where in that division, we'll see if they have a shot now.
Yeah, they brought in a couple other guys, so we'll see if that defense can kind of, you know, pick up without him. Hopefully they get him back. So they do have a core of young offensive wide receivers. They bring in Flash Gordon, so they might need to rely on a little bit more of their offense than initially expected. So that'll be an interesting team to follow just because of that nature. A second news note I want to jump into is Jalen Ramsey getting paid big money here. So my questions to you guys, how do you think this impacts the Rams' future market? Just because, you know, they have a lot of money. We saw them run into some situations where they had to let people go, i.e. Todd Gurley, Clay Matthews, people of that nature. And how do you think this also impacts future QBs, cornerbacks, getting paid? Because, you know, he kind of really broke the market here, or what they've been getting paid, you know, next man up. But can somebody surpass him the next time someone's due up?
Yeah. You know, one, I think he's deserving to be the top paid, right? Sometimes you see some of these people who really aren't, even I would say in their top three in their position, become the highest paid. And that really breaks the market because it's like, oh shit, if average Joe here is making this much money, how much is Jalen going to get paid? So he set the tone, but he's also one of the best to do it, if not the best right now in the game. So he deserves it. And then for the Rams, man, I don't know what applies to them. They have damn near no draft picks in the first round for the next couple of years. They're all in on like the buying the talent, which I'm not against, but at some point this is going to have to backfire where they're paying all these dudes with no young talent and money. You look at teams like the Ravens, right there. They have arguably one of the best QBs in Lamar Jackson, and are paying him rookie money still. I just don't see how they're going to get away with this for so long. So I think the Rams are going to be hurting here before too long.
I agree. It's one of those things where, yes, Jalen Ramsey deserved to get paid, and he has been the top cornerback in his league in the last, 3-4 years he's been the top. This dude is a baller, and him getting paid is going to affect a lot of people, affect the cornerback market. The only thing I would say about this is if he flops, the cornerbacks are going to have trouble in the future, because who is going to be better than this guy in the foreseeable future? I mean, you got the Jeff Okudas of the world, the Arnett's, you got the Lattimores, people like that. When they want to get paid, what's going to happen if they say, well, look, when Jalen Ramsey got paid and he flopped, I don't want to pay you that much money. So it is a little burden that he has to carry for that position. And going on to the Rams, I completely agree with Lucas. They're in an all-in situation. They have to win. This is what they have to do. I mean, they've been turning out people left and right. I mean, you look at Aqib Talib, gone. Marcus Peters, gone. Gurley, gone. These people that are really good players, yeah, they might have had some injuries, but those are guys that are balling other places. I see Todd Gurley having a good year. So the Rams are in a win-now situation, and if they don't get it done, it's going to be bad for them.
Pops to Ohio State cornerbacks from you right there. One thing I will say is, I mean, you're gonna pay Donald, right? I mean, this guy's an absolute beast. But what it's going to turn into, yeah, they locked up some of their really good players. So what it's going to turn into, I think, is they're really going to have to turn out their drafting and developing players. So I think Sean McVay is a great coach, and he can also is good at building teams. However, you know, they spent a couple of these draft picks to get these big name players, so now they're already low on the draft picks to begin with. So it's going to even be more important to draft these quality people, try to find some of these hidden gems, and then also develop them as well. Another thing I want to get to, I just saw at the time I read this recording, Danielle Hunter placed on short-term IR. He's out at least 3 weeks, so you know, about the first month of the season. So now it's even looking better that the Vikings acquired Yannick Ngakoue, because, you know, Danielle Hunter was a great pass rusher for the Vikings the last couple of years, really turned it on, especially the last one or two. So what do you guys think of that? Do you think they'll be able to manage the storm? I mean, and do you think basically signing Ngakoue is, you know, what they gave up to get him? I mean, now it's even more important that they got him.
This doesn't move the needle so much for me as I thought it would. Like you said, they get Ngakoue. He's a premier pass rusher. I think he'll get it done. Yes, the loss of Hunter hurts, especially in the time that we're playing in the NFL with all the passing, and you need the pass rushers. But he'll be back in 3 weeks. He's not gone for the year. And I think they'll be able to stay afloat. The Vikings still have a good defense, especially if their corners start turning it around. So I think this is a good opportunity for him to get healthy, be in a good spot, and the Vikings stay afloat and get the job done on their end, on the defensive side of the ball at least.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna necessarily be like a deal breaker or a season breaker. Obviously, I think it hurts a little bit, but that is a good signing. I know they lost Everson Griffin, but looking at their first 3 games, if that's all he misses, right, obviously going to hurt against the Packers week 1, not having a pass rush. Then they play a god-awful team in week 2, the Indianapolis Colts. No, just kidding. But I think,
Whoa.
I think it'll, I think that's a game that they can still compete in without him. And then the Titans are good, not a big pass game, so I don't think we'll hurt him as much that much. But if he can get back after that against the Texans, Seahawks, and Falcons, three pretty good passing teams, I think that's really where they're going to need him back.
I agree with you, Lucas, on there. With it really hurts them week 1, but I don't think it's going to hurt them too much overall as long as he can get back. I think that's a really good point. And then before we get into the actual game matchup, the last news I want to touch on is Kareem Hunt signing a 2-year extension with the Browns. And this kind of surprised me because I just thought, given his situation, he signs with the Browns, right? And I thought he'd maybe want to test free agency to see if he can get a starting gig. So what are your guys' reactions to this? And do you think it's more like he either likes the system or he just wanted to ensure that payout just with potentially there's so many free agent running backs coming up next year, they offer him this money and he takes it instead of risking it.
Yeah, I think it's really surprising to me. More so on his end than the Browns. One from the Browns side, I think they're not giving Chubb as much love, I feel like, as they should be, who's one of the best running backs in the league right now, at least to me. But from his side, you're right. Like I thought he was going to come in, sign a quick deal, and test the market, right? Prove that he's still. I mean, just because he got the year before he got suspended, this dude was one of the top running backs in the league. Now all of a sudden he's taking 2-year deals to be a backup running back or just a slot or a third down back, and it really didn't make a lot of sense to me when. You finish out the year, you see what the market is. There's plenty of teams I think that could have really used him and probably even paid him more. So surprising to me.
I respectfully disagree on that. Just from my point of view, I look at it as we play in the NFL. These guys don't run into contracts too often. Getting the guaranteed money, getting that bonus, and signing that deal secures his family, secures his job. Yes, he is good, but how much was that Andy Reid? Who knows about his domestic violence? Or I believe that's what it was. Those are still question marks. And honestly, what did he do last year? Yes, we got a bell cow Nick Chubb, and I think the Browns know what they have, but they also know that running backs get hurt. Secured up, if in these next 2 years, if he is a good third down back, if he has some good games, he can secure the next contract better than what he could have done after coming out of last year. So I think this was a smart business move on his end to get it done, to show that he's what he's got and still getting paid a semi-guaranteed amount, considering he doesn't get cut next year after the next year. So I think it was a good business move on his end. He wants to continue to prove, and he's in a run-first offense. A big play action offense with the new head coach there, and I think he's going to get some looks, and I think he wants to prove himself some more.
Yeah, I mean, great points. I agree with both of you. I am surprised that he didn't test the free agency market, but I also agree that, with the Browns offense and the weapons they have, there's potential there, and then, a team gives you money, sometimes it's better to take it now versus risk it as we've seen. All right, so let's get into tonight's matchup. Football, hell yes. Thursday night football, we got the Chiefs and the Texans. Who do we like from each team? Cam, I'm going to throw it to you. Do you expect it to be a good game? Sometimes throughout the season, regular season, the Thursday night football is a little lackluster, but, starting off football, I couldn't be more excited for some Thursday night football.
Man, you are bringing the energy. You got me hype as hell. I'm ready to go. But yes, I love this game. Game is the game where the Texans and Chiefs played in last year's playoffs, and the Texans rattle off 24, 27 straight points, and then the Chiefs come all the way back to win the game and eventually win the Super Bowl. This is the matchup I want to see. Two high-powered offenses, two game-changing quarterbacks that win the same draft. It is everything that we'll want as the first game for just barely getting sports back. To answer your first question, the couple people that I like from this game on the Chiefs side, I'm a big Edwards-Hilaire guy. I think he's going to smash. He's in a smash spot for fantasy, and just to have a breakout rookie season. He doesn't have real competition in that backfield. He can do it all. He's a 3-down back. I think he's going to really show up for this game. Also, I'm going to go with Sammy Watkins. I mean, you got the Tyreek Hills, you got the Travis Kelce's, but Mahomes is known to move the ball around. I think Sammy Watkins come out here with something to prove today. I think he goes for almost 100 yards. He gets about 7 catches, and he gets a touchdown. I think he's going to have a game where he can catch the ball on a slant and maybe break it. He's not afraid of going across the middle. He likes to take contact. He breaks a lot of tackles and gets some run after the catch, especially with people playing that umbrella over the top of Tyreek Hill. On the other side of this game, I'm going to go with Deshaun Watson. Dude's a gamer. He came out and said, Dabo Swinney said he's a Mike Jordan. He's going to be the Mike Jordan in the NFL. And I haven't seen much different. I mean, he is a tier 1 clutch player, night in and night out. You got the ball in the fourth quarter, you're down 14 points. I trust it with Deshaun Watson. There's not many quarterbacks that I'll say that about. So I got him, and I'm going to go with David Johnson. New team, new scenery. We all know what he's been. So David Johnson, and the last guy will be Will Fuller. No DeAndre Hopkins. The targets have to go somewhere. He's had breakout games before. Hopefully he can stay healthy. This isn't a secondary that I'm saying, ooh, I'm scared about. So he could have a breakout game, especially with Deshaun Watson scrambling around, getting out, some busting coverage, get a couple big ones. So those are the guys I like. And before I throw it to Lucas, I'm just going to go with, I think the Texans win this game. I think they have something to prove. Now, this is a strong take because I looked at it since 2000. I think the Super Bowl champions have like a 700 win percentage in the last 19 years. That's insane. But I think the Texans say, we can play with you. We have what it takes to match up with you. And we should have beat you last year. And now we're going to show you that we're going to beat you this year. I think they seal the deal. And it'll be one hell of a show for the first night back.
Boy, that take is as strong as fucking Aaron Donald. On the other side, I'm kind of on the other side of you here. From the player's perspective, I agree. I'm big on CEH for the Chiefs. I think he's going to absolutely snap for the Chiefs in that offense. He's not going to have to be the workhorse, so he'll get a lot of opportunities where they're not stacking the box. But for the Chiefs or for the Texans side, I think that I'm not as big on Will Fuller just because I think Brandon Cooks is going to sneak in there. New scenery for him. He's still got the speed. He's going to be able to take some across the middle. But I am very excited for David Johnson. I've been on the David Johnson train since he's been in the league. He had some weird injuries that I think limited him, but dude's still only 25, 26, 27, still in his prime. New offense with a good system that can really fit him. I drafted David Johnson, I think, in 2 of my 3 leagues, if not all of them. So I'm really excited for him from a fantasy, season-long perspective, as well as in this matchup on Thursday. But I'm on the other side for the game. I think the Chiefs are going to win this. At first, I thought they might have that Super Bowl hangover, but without DeAndre Hopkins, I just don't see the Texans being able to keep up with the firepower of the Chiefs. So I'm taking the Chiefs to win. I think they're going to cover that 9.5 point spread as well pretty easily. That's my ending regular warm take or cool take.
All right. I'm going to take a little side of both of you guys. So towards the end of this podcast, I do have a quick fire segment that's covering this game. So I don't want to give too much input to spoil what I have for you, but I do like Edwards-Helaire, like you said, Cam. I'm not someone who plays a lot of season-long fantasy anymore. I'm much more into DFS. But in my league, I did take Edwards-Helaire. I do like him. Going to your part, Lucas, about the Texans' weapons. Yes, losing DeAndre Hopkins is huge, but they just paid Deshaun Watson. Maybe that had something to do with it. I mean, I don't think we know for sure, but I think we can connect the dots. Now, setting injury aside, because we know that happens, but just on paper they got David Johnson, Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, and Randall Cobb, and I think they can make up for him, should they get all the pieces in the right places and those guys be able to stay healthy. So I don't think the Chiefs are going to have a Super Bowl hangover. However, I am picking the Texans to kind of sneak this win off. I don't know how they'll do for the entire season, but I think they start off strong here and get a very close win. So this is the Roster Lock podcast, brought to you by our sponsor, Thrive Fantasy, where you can use the code SLATE, and when you put in 20, they will match it with an additional 20 on them. Thrive Fantasy is a prop betting site that is based on occurrences and is easy for beginners to experienced players. Now, this is something I'm actually going to jump in on week 1. I'm trying to get as much football as I can, paying attention to my season-long fantasy roster, getting a bunch of DFS lineups in, and I'm also going to definitely dive into Thrive Fantasy this week 1. You excited for that, Cam? You think they got some good bets for week 1? You just excited to get all this football like I am?
Yeah, I want all the football I can get. It's a site, guys, that a lot of you probably don't know. but it's a site that you can win real money, easy money, if you just know football. You don't need to dive into the stats and look at the players. It's basically, is Jimmy Garoppolo going to go throw 2.5 touchdowns over and under? It's things that you just know that you can look at. If you watch the sport, you can win. And quite frankly, all the competitions, the contests don't feel. That just gives you better win equity right there. Go get it. Go sign up. Put in 20. You get another 20. You have 40, and you can start doubling, tripling that money. Go look into it and go win some
when
contests.
you use the code SLATE. All right, for our next topic, this is going to be positional breakdown. We're going to do this on a weekly basis. We're going to run through a couple of players that we like through the entire slate, covering all the games. Now, this year, like we've seen in baseball, basketball, it might be a little bit different just with everything being considered. But week one's a little challenging because we have nothing to really go off of. But Cam, I want you to start off with this. We're starting quarterbacks. Who do you like?
Yeah, I got two guys written down, and the first one could be a very debatable topic. And I am not a big fan of this pick, but as you guys know, you listen to this pod, you play FanDuel, you play DraftKings. You need to be different. You need to be contrarian. These millie makers that they're running, if you want to win those, you need to make a stand somewhere. And this week, I'm going to go with Mitchell Trubisky. Is he the best quarterback? No. But this is another year in the system of Nagy. He's won the job from Nick Foles fair and square, and he's going up against a Lions defense that just plays man to man. They don't have Slay anymore. He's in Philly. He's gone. See ya. They're going to run man to man, and yes, they got Okuda. But if I'm looking at Allen Robinson against a rookie corner, nothing against him, I'm taking Allen Robinson. The dude is the real deal. So if we can go out there and be different, get them at like 5% ownership, yeah, take your stand. You have to take stands. Now, it might flop, but if it hits, you're going to be one of the few people that's going to get that leverage over the field, and those extra 10, 15 points might be all the difference. So don't get mad at me if it flops. I'm just saying Mitchell Trubisky is in my player pool for this week, and I think I'm taking a real look at him. The other guy I'm going with is Phillip Rivers from my Colts, my squad. You know, I'm not doing this for a bias thing, but he had an awful year last year. And I don't think a lot of people are going to be on him. He's going against a really depleted Jacksonville team that he should be able to pass the ball around, destroy him. Last year he was the worst quarterback throwing the deep ball. But Mike Williams still got 1,000 yards receiving. So he could still launch it. He could still throw it. He's in a new system. Maybe need to change the scenery to feel a little bit better. He got tired of being in sunny California. He wanted to go play in a dome where it's comfortable. And I think this is a great situation for him. And a smash spot team that he's playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't got anything to refute him. He's got T.Y. Hilton. He's got Mack. He's got Jack Doyle. It's just a good tight end that he could throw to. So I'm really looking at Phillip Rivers this week.
For me, I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers. I think what we kind of talked about, Danielle Hunter, he's getting some better pass opportunities. Doesn't have to worry as much about the rush. I mean, it's still going to be there. It's still going to be present. But he's a quarterback that's kind of that mid-tier price range. I think he could have a big number. He's someone who's historically played pretty well against the Vikings, so I just like that historic matchup. I'm interested to see how he does with these wide receivers or lack thereof, whatever side of you are on, if you're a Green Bay fan or not, basically. But I can see him putting in a productive outing. You always have that high ceiling with Rodgers. He can go off at any time. Just the last couple of years has been the consistency. So week one, he's someone I'm high on. And then I'm going to agree with you with Rivers, Cam. This is not necessarily going for or against Rivers, but it's just going against Jacksonville, right? So, I mean, I don't even know who they have on their roster anymore. They're signing people who have been cut other teams. Nobody knows what they're really doing. So I'm going for all those points. That's just a matchup I'm looking all across the board. So I think there's a lot of potential for yak yardage against the Jags. I think that fits the style Rivers plays. I mean, you could have T.Y. Hilton bust a make a guy miss, go run for 70 yards. If that's dumping in the ball out of the backfield, dumping it off to Hines, I could see him getting some good production value. I mean, you got Campbell who might run some dig routes or something underneath and get a lot of open space, making people miss. So I just think there's a lot of value there for the offense. And, depending on how it goes, passing versus running, I just think there's a lot of potential points there for Rivers.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with both your picks. I like them both. On my end, just gonna switch it up a little bit. I went more with like the mid to low tier, at least low value guys here. Both individuals with new teams this year, so I like it, but favorable matchups. So I'm going with one, Cam Newton. I think he's really. I don't know if maybe the first week he's going to be, really up to speed and firing on all cylinders, but I like his matchup against the Dolphins defense. He's got some weapons that'll help him not only in the air, but on the feet, with his feet as well. And obviously Belichick as the coach scheming. I like his pick here. And then another one, kind of following the same path as Cam here, with someone who might not be picked a lot, Tyrod Taylor. That he's got the weapons around him, whether it's Eckler, whether it's the receivers of Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, or Hunter Henry as tight end. He's definitely got the weapons there. He's got his legs. He's mobile. Can get you a couple running touchdowns possibly. And then the Bengals defense, isn't the strongest. Well, I think they're ranked like 24th in defense or worse last year. Didn't really make too many upgrades this year on defense, so they focus a lot on offense. So I think both of those guys are really set for potential big games here.
Before you go, Mac, I just want to say a couple things. Yes, we know the Lamar Jacksons of the world and things are like that are obviously good plays, but we want to be different. We want to be able to win tournaments, win contests, and playing those guys, playing the ultra chalk isn't going to be the way you get there. But I did want to get your guys' opinion about something is, what do you guys think about Teddy Bridgewater? I keep going back and forth on him, and he's in a new spot. He had a good 5 games with the Saints when he was filled in for Breeze. So what do you think he's going to do with DJ Moore and those weapons over there?
I'll jump in first there, Lucas. I'm selling it. I'm going to get into running backs here a little bit later. Spoiler, I am actually taking CMC to go against what you just said. But, I mean, that's what we like. But as far as passing Bridgewater, I think he could win games. As far as fantasy-wise, I'm selling the play.
I'm selling Teddy Bridgewater as well, at least for this first week, right? I think, he had a good couple games with the Saints, but I don't remember the exact numbers, but basically all of his positive stats were due to Michael Thomas. If he targeted anyone else, they were like below average stats. So I think Michael Thomas has a lot to do with that. And I think DJ Moore is great. CMC is going to help take a lot off of him. But just for this game, if this is a game, it is a favorable matchup against the Raiders, but I'm not buying this first week.
Okay.
And then, that's a good question. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking along the same lines. But before we get in the running backs, I want to touch base with Trubisky, like you said. Unpopular opinion, I don't think he's going to have a horrible year. I mean, granted, the first time he throws an incomplete pass, the fans might be booing him off the field, even though there will be no fans, so maybe it's on Twitter. But, they just, through last year and whatnot, I think they're just so hard on him right now, no matter what he does. I think unless he, goes 5 for 5, like 25 for 25 with 5 touchdowns, I think that they're going to be very hard on him early, but I think he kind of gets that fire lit under him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has a lot better year this year. So I'm agreeing with you on that. I think it's a little unpopular, but I do not hate it. All right, throwing it back to you, Cam. Tell me about the running backs here.
Yeah, I wrote down 3 guys here that I have on my list. One is a questionable decision, but oh well, I'm going to go with it. That's what I'm all about today. So first one, I'm going to go with Joe Mixon. I really like his spot that he's in. He's playing with the rookie quarterback. He is the offense for the Bengals. Yes, they did get Adrian Green. They got Todd. They got Boyd over there. But I think Mixon is is the engine that makes his team go. He just signed a new contract. He is ready to pay that off. He's good to go. And I think he's going to get about 25 to 30 touches in this game between receiving and running. And he's going to really put up numbers against this Chargers defense. The next one I'm going to go with is Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders plays for the Eagles, and we know they don't got shit. Jeffrey's not playing, Rager's not playing, and it's just Ertz in the Sanders show. Yes, you got Deshaun Jackson out there to go 60 yards a couple times, but to stretch the defense. But Miles Sanders is a guy that didn't play all the games, that didn't get to start at the beginning of the year last year, and still averaged 20 touches a game. This guy can line up outside. He can line up in the backfield. He catches the ball. He runs the ball. I think he is the offense for the Eagles. He will take the stress off Wentz, especially if that line is not blocking, which we know that they aren't the best. So I think Miles Sanders is in a great spot for that team. And the last guy I'm going to go with is Nick Chubb. Now this pick is a little scary because they are playing the Ravens. And the Ravens, we all know about them. That's Lucas's team, and I can't say nothing bad about them. They are some ballers. But the first matchup when Nick Chubb played him, he ran for 3 touchdowns. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go for 3 tutties against them again, but what I'm saying is the Browns do stick to the run. And if I had to pick between that front 7 or that secondary, I'm picking that front 7. I don't want to pick on that secondary. So I will have some shares of some Nick Chubb, and hopefully he can get about 100 yards and give me a touchdown or maybe 2 and really make this game competitive for the Browns.
Yeah, good picks. For me, I'm going, like I said, with CMC. And, I mean, this kind of goes against what we said, and it's going to go against my last pick. But, I mean, he's an expensive guy. I think he was around 10,000, which blows everybody else out of the water. But I think he's just somebody who could be worth your investment. Yes, he's going to be chalk. It's going to be harder to make lineups around him. I don't have any lineups currently locked in, but I have made a couple that's built around him. So I just think that he's going to give you your points. I mean, it might not bust the ceiling, but it very well could be at the same time. You just don't know, but at least he's going to get you some decent production with a high upside. The only thing is you have to find some budget plays around him. So, I mean, it's nothing fancy, it's nothing sexy, but I like him week 1. Another pick I like is, like you said, Joe Mixon. I think he could have a solid week 1. Slowly introducing Joe Burrow into the NFL, keeping it a little conservative. I could see him getting over 100 yards a touchdown, a good overall fantasy day. So I like Joe Mixon here. And here's my scary pick. You thought you had a scary pick with Nick Chubb. I'm going with Shady McCoy. And this is a guy who got a healthy scratch in the Super Bowl. And yet here I am playing him. So doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? But hear me out. Here's my argument for him. He's my budget play. Is he 57,000, I think? 5,700, I think. And the reason I'm playing him is because I have no faith in Ronald Jones. I mean, he is technically the starter. So, hey, with Brady, he could come out and solidify that role and be like, I'm the guy. I just, needed a go in front of me, help me out, show me the way. Here, I'm good to go. They also signed Leonard Fournette. I can't talk today. So they signed Leonard Fournette, and, this was just recent. Maybe it takes some time for him to really get in the offense. And I'm taking McCoy for a sneaky touchdown. If he doesn't get a touchdown, I don't think it's worth the risk. But I think he could steal a touchdown and get you that exposure or that player that people aren't playing in these big tournaments. So that's my sneaky pick for running back along with my 2 workhorses.
Yeah, on my end, I'm agreeing with you guys with Joe Mixon. I think he's not only going to have a good week 1, but a huge year here. As long as he can stay healthy, he's going to be the workhorse for that offense with Joe Burrow in there. But they also have a lot of good weapons around him to maybe not give him the full focus to where he can get you some good points week in and week out. But then for my 3 main ones, I'm going to pick here Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is going against a really favorable matchup here. He is the workhorse for that team. He's going to get you a decent amount of points week in and week out. But I really think he's going to excel here against the Raiders week 1. They got some young wide receivers and going to put a lot on Jacobs' back. He is a little bit higher of a pick So my other two are I think, really good value in more budget plays. But I think Tariq Cohen, I don't know why I said that so weird. Tariq Cohen is going to be a great pick here against the Lions, like Cam was saying with Trubisky. But also David Montgomery's been banged up. He's got a groin injury. So even if he does play, who's to say he doesn't get injured anywhere throughout that game and Cohen gets more than the third down or the passing plays. So I think he's going to be a big one here. And then Raheem Mostert, just coming back, signing that contract. All of their wide receivers are pretty much injured or banged up. Deebo Samuel started practicing again. He's got a foot issue. Ayuk is out. So I think Mostert against that Cardinals front seven should have a pretty good game. And right now he's only at 6,200 on FanDuel. So should be in line for some good value there.
All right, Cam. What you got for receivers?
Yeah, I already mentioned Allen Robinson. So if it's a Mitchell Trubisky play for you, I do think you pair him up with Allen Robinson. So I'm not going to go too much further on that. I've already elaborated on that as much as I need to. But the other guy I have written down is DJ Moore. I know Lucas was we sold on Teddy Bridgewater earlier, but I believe in DJ Moore. He's the guy that's going to get all the targets. And that's what you need in the NFL. You need a guy that's going to get the ball thrown to him. And we know Teddy Bridgewater is an accurate quarterback. He might not drive the ball down the field. And yes, his stats were trash to everybody else on the Saints except for Michael Thomas. But DJ Moore can be that Michael Thomas. Now, I don't want to compare skill. I don't want to go there. But the dude is good. He's young. He's explosive. And I'm gonna have some shares of DJ Moore. I really believe in him. And he's in a favorable matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders. So I have no problem with that. But the next guy I'm going to go with, and that guy that I have projected out to be a wide receiver 5 this year, is Kenny Galladay. The Lions throw the ball. Last year, they averaged 40 throws a game. This dude had breakout games week in and week out. If it wasn't him, it was Marvin Jones Jr., sorry. And I think this guy is going to have more of them this year. He is a big-time threat. Matt Stafford stays healthy. He is gunning that ball, and Galladay's the guy that's going to be catching it. He's in a great matchup again. He's in a great matchup this week against the Bears because I don't think they got anyone that really is going to match up with him. Even if they do, Matthew Stafford's going to throw it anyway. Get some shares of Galladay. He's going to end the season as a wide receiver 5 for me, and he's going to be the guy. So those are my two.
Yeah, for me, to go on what you said a little bit to start your segment is I am a huge fan of pairing up your QB with a wide receiver. So if you take your QB, you're looking for a huge outing, and what better way to get you a jump start? If your quarterback goes off, why not pair him with the receiver? So I really like that, even though I don't have it in my wide receivers that I like, comparing up with the 2 QBs I picked. And a lot of my lineups, I am pairing my my quarterback with one of his wide receivers. So, however, starting off, people I like week 1. I like Mike Evans. I think there's a lot of offensive firepower. I'm big into Tampa Bay. So is a lot of people. Hopefully this doesn't turn out to what the hype train was for the Browns last year, but I don't think that's going to happen. I could easily see this dude getting a touchdown. I mean, he's the hardest part about picking Mike Evans is the dude on the other side with Chris Godwin. You really don't know which one is not necessarily going to show up, but who's going to get the touchdown, right? So I think they're both going to get big numbers, but I'm picking Mike Evans this week 1. Another guy I like is Deshaun Jackson, and this is kind of going off of his historic week 1 output. He's someone who always seems to get injured, but starts off the season hot. So he's pretty good budget-wise. If you do want to pair him up with Wentz and hope for a big game, I am not opposed to that. It's something I'm actually looking forward to, so I think there's some value to be had there. Another guy I like in a favorable matchup is John Brown going against the Jets. You lose Jamal Adams. I really don't know off the top of my head who's all great back there, so I think John Brown could be a big play. You also got Stephon Diggs on the other side taking a lot of attention, so he could easily have a big day. So that's someone I'm looking to. And then a budget play I'm looking similar to what I went with running back is Larry Fitzgerald, and I'm really looking for a touchdown here. I will say I don't think Kyler Murray has a great outing against the 49ers. I did pick him in my year-long fantasy league, so I do like him all year. I just don't think he has a favorable matchup going against the 49ers. But if you're looking for a budget play to finish your roster out, I like Larry Fitzgerald looking for a touchdown to give you some value.
Yeah, on my end, I'm actually going to go on the other side of Mike Evans and pick Chris Godwin here. I read that Mike Evans has been banged up, has a hamstring issue, hasn't practiced all week, but Arian said that he could play. He doesn't need to practice to play. But even if so, that puts a lot of focus on Godwin. I think there's a chance that maybe that could hinder him a little bit if Marshawn Lattimore's shadowing him across the field the whole game. But Godwin's one of my high value picks here, or higher, more expensive picks. Then my other two, I'm going to agree with you, Cam, with DJ Moore. Even though talking about Teddy Bridgewater and being sketchy there, like you said, DJ Moore is the guy there. I mean, he's good day in and day out. I know Curtis Samuel's pretty good in taking away, or could maybe take away some targets from him, but I like DJ Moore in that matchup against the Raiders. And then last is someone, and maybe rightfully so, that everyone keeps forgetting about, is AJ Green. He's had a full year to get healthy now. He's got a new and improved quarterback. And been checking up on the Bengals camp, and they said AJ Green looks like unreal this year. Looks like an Olympian athlete. He's healthy. He's getting all the targets. So he's pretty low value right now, just because, like I said, I think people are forgetting about him. But going against the Chargers, I know I think Hayward's still back there. I know they lost Derwin James, so he could have a big day deep down the field.
All right, Cam, I got a question for you before we get into tight ends. So you're big on Trubisky, or you'll at least like looking at him, and you like Allen Robinson. But say you're making a lineup, like a DFS lineup, right? And you have everybody, but you can't afford Allen Robinson, but you don't really want to take anybody out of your lineup. You need would you be opposed to pairing him with another wide receiver that's way down on the depth chart? Do you think there's any potential there? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. Or would you go more of a just filling in another spot and not pairing it up with your Trubisky?
In that scenario, I would probably pair him up with the number 2 receiver for the Bears. His name is slipping my mind. He had a decent year last year. For some reason, I can't remember it. But I would pair him up with the other receiver, just because what if they do roll coverage to Allen Robinson? It's got to open up somewhere. And in that Bears offense, the way they run it, I mean, the 2 receivers on the field are probably going to get a lot of looks. So I would still try to pair Trubisky up with somebody.
All right on. What do you got for tight ends?
Tight end, I've been waiting for this. This is where I feel like I'm making some money this week. I'm going to go with Jack Doyle. Back to my Colts. Like I said, not favorite or not biased by any means, but in 2016, the year before Ebron got there, Jack Doyle had 108 targets for a tight end, and he saw a lot of those targets in the red zone. Now, since Ebron got there, he took a lot of targets and usage from Jack Doyle, but he's gone, and Jack Doyle still had decent games with Ebron there. Phillip Rivers, we know, loves to throw to the tight end. Look at his tight ends. Antonio Gates. You got Hunter Henry. Those are guys that succeeded with him. Yeah, he might not be able to throw the ball down the field with his efficiency as he did before, but he can throw to the tight end. And I think Jack Doyle is in a really good spot with this quarterback that loves throwing to tight ends, and I think he's going to be a great play week 1 and be a good tight end for majority of the year. He's really cheap, so I will have some shares of him. And the other guy I'm going to go with is Hayden Hurst. Hooper's gone. 8 targets. Hooper got 8 catches a game, or 8 targets a game. So here comes Hayden Hurst. Good tight end. Log him in for those 8 targets. Might not get it right away, but I think in that Atlanta offense, the tight end is important, especially to help Julio and Calvin Ridley on the outsides. Someone that can soften up the middle, to make his safety come down and the shadow or guard him. I think Hayden Hurst has got in a really good spot with that Atlanta Falcons team, especially with Todd Gurley being there. They have a lot of weapons. So those are my two that I'm going to go with.
It's funny that you say that because for me, I'm going with Hooper as my first pick, and I think this is going to be one of my touchdown guys. So whenever I'm making a lineup, I'm looking for yards or touchdowns. So Baker really needs a bounce back year. I think he looks for Hooper in the red zone one of these trips. So I mean, they got a lot of weapons. They're wide receivers. So I think Hooper, kind of going underneath. And, the Ravens have a good defense. So I think Hooper could be one of those guys who get one of the red zone touchdowns. And then I'm going to agree with you with Hurst. I mean, there's just the position, like you kind of said, that he's filling in. I just think there's a lot of yardage. There's a lot of looks. There's receptions, touchdowns. It's just he's going to get a lot of potential for just overall offensive output. So I'm agreeing with you on that one.
Yeah, on my end, I'm gonna agree with you guys for Hayden Hurst for sure. As a Ravens fan, I saw dude was an athlete, dude's a savage. He just got outshined in a 3 tight end offense with Mark Andrews. But I think, as Cam mentioned, Matt Ryan doesn't shy away from his tight ends. He's got the skill. He's got the talent. He's not going to have all the focus on him with Ridley and Jones on the outside. So I think he's going to be he's pretty cheap on FanDuel and DraftKings. So someone I'm going to look for to be a good value pick here. And then from a little more of an expensive person, Mark Andrews, got to go with a guy here against the Browns. He just absolutely shredded the Browns last year. They don't do well against tight ends. The Ravens are an offense that has a tight end focus. Last year in just the 2 games, had 10 targets, 3 touchdowns, and 130 yards receiving. So expecting some big things out of Andrews this week.
All right, finishing off the positional breakdown, we got defense, special teams. Cam, go ahead.
Keep this short and sweet. I have the Colts playing the Jags. They like to throw the ball a lot. And DJ Shark's a good receiver, but the Colts have above average cornerbacks. They got some good safeties, and they have a really good front seven with a revamped defensive line. With dude came from the 49ers, slipping my mind. But
DeForest Buckner.
DeForest Buckner came on over. And then the other team I'm going to go with is the Bills. The Bills plays the Jets, and that's all we need to say about that.
I usually don't like doing this, but I'm going to agree with you on both picks. Every lineup that I've kind of made so far, at least that I have with envision of running, I have either the Colts or Bills. So short and sweet, I agree. That's what I got. Go ahead, Lucas.
I also don't like to do this, but I'm the same way. I think those are the 2 most obvious picks here. Both not the most expensive. They're a little cheaper, really good matchups, and really great defenses, actually. So I'm with you, Colts and Bills.
Alrighty. So now we're going to get into some of the more game breakdowns. Now this is something I don't want to go on too long, but I'm going to kind of give you the favorite, the over-under, and my keys to the game. And just I'm going to throw it to you guys, have you elaborate if you agree with me, if you don't, and then we'll get into the game picks where we go in a little more depth. Okay? So, Jets-Bills. We got the Bills at a 6.5 favorite, over-under 39. I think this is going to be close in the first half, but Bills pull away in the second half. I think it all depends on Sam Darnold. I can't even say his name. But, how does he perform? He started to look a little bit better towards the end of the season, but in the first part of the season he looked really bad. So I think a lot of it depends on him. And I'm also someone who's low or selling Le'Veon Bell until he proves me wrong. I've heard some bad things about him, and then I don't think he really matches with Adam Gase. I don't know if he's lost a step. I mean, I don't know if you've seen pictures of him physically. He looks absolutely shredded, but I don't know if he's lost a step, if it's the system, but I'm selling on that until he proves me that he has a good game. I'm going to throw it to you first, Cam. What are your takes on my outtake, and who do you got?
Yeah, I think you hit it pretty well in the head. I like the Bills, 6.5 favorites. I think they cover that. I'm not so sure over under 39. And I think Le'Veon Bell has a decent game, but nothing that's going to be like, oh, he's back. So, yeah, I agree with all your points.
Yeah, I'm with you too. Agreeing on this. I'm going to choose. I think the Bills win this. It's too strong of a defense. Actually, pretty excited to see their offense this week. I think they're going to cover that 6.5-point spread, and I think the game will stay under that 39 mark though. I'm guessing like a 21-10 type of game.
All right, for the next game, we got Dolphins Patriots. Patriots a 6.5 favorite, over under 42. Here, I'm interested in how both D's play. So the Dolphins have upgraded their defense, and the Pats with all their opt-outs. Of course, regardless of how the D's play, Cam Newton is going to be the story of the game, no matter if he performs well, mediocre, or bad. It's Cam Newton. He's going to get the story. So for the Dolphins, I'm really interested. They bring in Eric Flowers on the line. Their line was atrocious last year, so I'm interested to see how he is. He's a former first-round pick, I think. I think he was the Giants. So he kind of failed there. They moved him over to guard, I believe. He was originally a tackle. They bring in Kyle Van Noy from a linebacker from the Patriots. He's going to fit well with Brian Flores. And also the Dolphins' defensive backfield. They spent some money. I think I like the Dolphins here, but I might be a little bit biased. Cam, am I wrong here?
Oh, this was kind of tough. I do not think the Patriots cover the 6.5-point spread there. I'm still kind of torn if they're going to win the game because of, like you said, all the opt-outs. It's definitely going to be hard for them. And I think the Dolphins are a little bit better than what we think they are. They have a really good tight end. I think that Fitzpatrick will have a decent game, will be able to control that game. And quite frank, Cam Newton and them don't have a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. We saw it last year with Tom Brady, and Bill Belichick's a great coach. I don't think it covers the over-under, but I think the Dolphins might squeak out. I think Flores will be one of the first coaches to beat Belichick, and it's going to be some headline news.
Yeah, at first I was going to go easy Patriots, but the more I thought about it, I agree with you guys. I think it's going to be a close game, and I think it all is going to depend on Ryan Fitzpatrick. Which Fitzpatrick are we going to get? Are we going to get Fitzmagic, or are we going to get 10 for 32 interceptions Fitzpatrick? I think all in all, I do think the Dolphins win it. Fitzpatrick seems to play really well when he's not under pressure. It's game one, a weird season. I think the Dolphins pull this out.
All right, next game. I got Eagles 6-point favorite over Washington, over under 42.5. What I'm really interested in is how Washington running backs look in this game. They obviously released Darius Geis and Adrian Peterson, so do they have a game plan? Is somebody really stepping up? Kind of forgetting that one guy's name. Is it Gibson? So we briefly talked about it in our preview, but it looks like he's kind of turned it on during camp. Will he start off week one? Will it take a little bit of time, or do they have somebody else like Bryce Love or something? I do like Wentz in this game. However, their receivers are looking a little shaky, so is someone going to step up? Like I kind of brought about earlier, could Deshaun Jackson step up in this role, or will it be a young guy, or will it be nobody, and they use Miles Sanders here? I'm going to take the Eagles with the easy win. This time I'm going to throw it to you, Lucas, to start off. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I don't think all the drama surrounding the Washington football team, the Haskins starting, I think is a little sketchy. They have essentially no weapons from a wide receiver standpoint. We'll see how Antonio Gibson does in the backfield. But I think it's first game of the year. I think you got to give it to the Eagles here. And yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I do think the Eagles win. I am kind of intrigued about this Washington team and pieces like Gibson. I really think he's going to have a great year for them when he gets into a more secure role. And I think McLaurin or something? Yeah, McLaurin's going to have a good game. So, guys, if you guys want to game stack a game, I think this is the game that you would do it. But, I think the Eagles take this, cover the spread at 6 points.
All right, next game we got Raiders at 3 versus the Panthers over under 48. I do agree that this could be a high-scoring game. I did mention that I do like CMC on this slate. I think the Raiders and Carr share the ball a little bit more. Not one more guy goes off, but if I did have to pick a guy on the Raiders that's not Carr, even though I'm not a huge fan of him compared to the other quarterbacks. I like Waller. I just think they're going to share the ball a little bit more versus the CMC show. I'm going to take the Raiders in this one. Lucas, let me throw it back to you again.
All right, I'll take this. My man's getting ready for a fantasy draft, so he might be doing something. But I do agree with you. I think this game will be a fireworks show. Neither of them really got great defenses, so it's just going to be back and forth, back and forth. I do think that the Raiders do win, cover the spread because Josh Jacobs runs in a late touchdown, controls the clock, controls this game. The Panthers can't stop the run, and I think he's going to gash them. So I do take the Raiders at 3 points. And I think I will take the over in this game of over 48.
Yeah, sorry about that, Buzz. I couldn't hold the P in any longer. So Raiders Panthers here. I'm actually going to go with the Panthers. I think that something still about the Raiders and Derek Carr just doesn't sell me, at least not for game one. I'm excited to see what Ruggs does this week and moving forward. But I think the Panthers pull this one out, and I'm agreeing with Cam about the over-under. I think it hits the over here.
All right. Glad to have you back, Lucas. All right, next game. We got Colts at 8 favorites against the Jaguars. 45.5 is the over-under. We covered this a little bit in the positional breakdown. I think Colts big fantasy numbers overall for the Colts. I mean, nothing sweet. Cam, this is your team. Go ahead and take it.
I mean, I've talked about the Colts numerous times in earlier segments, so keep it short and sweet. Colts going to win this game. Colts are going to cover the spread. Colts going to win the Super Bowl 2021. Throw it to Lucas.
All right, exactly what I wanted to hear. All right.
No, I think the Colts. Oh, sorry. Hey, you want to go? No. Colts. I think the Colts win this game pretty easily. Cam. I think that. Yeah, the Jaguars just went through too many changes. Don't have the weapons. Don't really have the defense anymore. I think easy win for the Colts too.
All right, Browns Ravens. We got Ravens at 8 over under 48.5. Ravens. I'm picking the Ravens. The question is, how does Baker start off this year? I think they have to get off to a good start, even if they take the L in this game. Lucas, you're the Ravens man. What do you think of this?
Yeah. Man, the Browns always play the Ravens tough. It's one of those times you see it in every division, right? Like a team loses to a team they shouldn't, or even make it a close game. But it's like, dude, these are division rivals. They play each other tough. They know how to play. So I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Ravens win. I still think they cover at 8. I think they win by about 10 here. I don't think that this will hit the over at 48. I think it'll be right under.
You got any input, Cam?
Yeah. Sorry. It was I agree with Lucas. I think this game will be closer. I don't know if it's going to go straight at 48 or 48.5, the over, but I think the Ravens have more. The Browns will be competitive this year. I think Nick Chubb is going to kind of control this game and minimize that Ravens offense. But, I mean, it's the Ravens. The Ravens are going to win, and that's where I'm going to go with that. All
right. Next, we got Chargers at -3, 3-point favorite versus Bengals over under 43. This was one of the tougher matchups for me. I'm picking the Chargers to take it in the fourth quarter, really. So I think Mixon could have an early output in the first half, but then the Chargers maybe come back, fueled by Tyrod Taylor, take the fourth quarter lead and hold on to it. Cam, let me throw it back to you. You like that assessment?
Yeah, I really do. It's I don't think the Bengals have enough to challenge the Chargers in this matchup, especially, quite frank, with Nick Bosa on the other side. Or not Nick, Joey Bosa, I'm sorry. I just don't think that the Bengals have the great offensive line. I think he has an impact in this game. I think Tyrod Taylor shows up to show why he should be a starting quarterback in this league, even though in his last 2 jobs he's gotten it ripped from him. One because of injury and things like that. So I like the Chargers here. I think they cover, but I do not think that it goes 43 points. I'll go with that there.
I'm actually gonna take the Bengals here. I'm ready to keep seeing Joe Burrow work the magic. He's one of the the last good things to happen in 2020 before everything went to shit. But I think the Bengals are going to surprise some people with that offense. If he plays, like people think he can, they still have the talent, with AJ Green, T. Higgins that they just drafted, Boyd, Joe Mixon. It'll just be up to that line and how they do. But I'm going to take the Bengals here.
All right, closing it off. Before we get into the actual host picks, we got Cardinals 49ers at 7, over under 48. Now, I'm not high on Kyler in this game to have big fantasy numbers, but I mean, I do like him for the year. He's on my season-long fantasy team, but I think the key to the game is the Niners D as always, but can they continue to run the ball like they ended last year? However, with that being said, I think Jimmy G has a little better passing output this game than everybody thinks. Cam, let me throw it to you this time. What do you think?
Jimmy G is a quarterback that I'm really high on this week. Jimmy G and Kendrick Bourne. I'm pairing those guys up. I really think that's going to be a great spot for them, especially with the weakened wide receiver core that they have over there. Bourne has had some great news coming out of camp. And I think the 49ers take this game a little bit easier than what people expect. DeAndre Hopkins isn't going to be ready for he's playing, but I don't think he's going to have a great first week. They have to get the chemistry. They didn't get OTAs. They didn't get those things that they normally get to get the chemistry down and just to learn the offense. So I think the defense prevails here. They will control the game with their running game and a couple play action passes. And I think Jimmy G to Bourne for a touchdown. And I look smart coming into Monday, so I'm going with that.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals actually put up a pretty good game here last year. If you look at the Niners, right, the 3 or 4 losses, I don't remember what it was, all come from pretty mobile quarterbacks, except for the Falcons fluke. They struggled against Lamar, they struggled against Russ. And then obviously Mahomes in the finals. Kyler can pose the same threats. He has the mobility to evade the defensive line, to negate that pass rush. He has arguably one of the best receiving cores, a great offensive mind, and Cliff Kingsbury. So I think they make it pretty close. But I'm going to pick the 49ers to win it overall, but I don't think they cover.
All right, now to finish off these games is something that we cover from podcast to podcast, and this is host picks. So we are taking our current standings that we were doing during the NBA playoff previews, if you were listening then. And the current standing is Cam at 8, I'm at 7, and Lucas is at 5. So I'm going to give you the matchups. Cam, I'm going to let you go first since you're the current leader. Then I'm going to go, and then we're going to give Lucas the loser's benefit and go last to decide how he wants to try to make up some points here.
Damn, feels good to be on top.
Trash.
All right, first one. We got Seahawks minus 125 versus the Falcons at plus 105. Go ahead, Cam.
Yeah, this game, I think the Falcons going to take this game. That's where I'm going to go with. Falcons win this game. They have a lot of offensive weapons. The Seahawks aren't the Legion of Boom of what we know. And I think they shut down Russell Wilson in the fourth quarter and run it out with Todd Gurley and get the dub.
All right, this is a game that was a little harder for me. I actually went back and forth a couple times here, and I think if it was under normal circumstances, the Falcons maybe get that home field advantage win. But then I thought about it. With that being said, it's going to be a little bit different. So then I went back to the Seahawks. I'm taking the Seahawks here. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think they pull away later in the game.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mac. I'm going to go Seahawks here. Seahawks going to be really good this year. Metcalf's got his second year and coming under his belt here. They got a good defense, some good players. Yeah, Seahawks.
All right, next game, Cam. Packers at plus 120 versus the Vikings minus 140.
Oh, no, you're talking about a game going back and forth on. This is tough. Great running back in Dalvin Cook on the other side, but I'm tired of the disrespect for that bad man. We're going with Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams is going ballistic this week. Xavier Rhodes, trash. Rest of the corners, trash. Everson Griff, whatever, gone. Danielle Hunter is what I meant to say. Gone. All of them. we're going with the Packers. Bad man Aaron Rodgers comes out, has a 4-touchdown performance, and then galloping into the night.
He's a bad man. I do like him. Like I said, he was one of my quarterbacks I'm taking. However, I think it's going to be Rodgers versus Cook. Assuming is he playing? What was that contract? Did they ended up signing him? Is he playing? Does anyone know?
No, then he's made it. He's made it in the press that he does not care about sitting out week 1. So that's another scary thing. If he decides not to play, well, it's definitely a
well,
route.
Shit. I mean, that was I was basing my entire pick off Cook. I was going to go to the Vikings. Can I make a pick depending on if Cook plays? Are you going to give me that? No.
Yeah.
Hell no. Hell no.
Coming from the guy in last, you need all
you're damn right. You're damn right.
Make a stand.
Well, shit. Oh man. Now I'm put on the spot because I had the Vikings. Whew. Well, I'm tilting. I'm going Packers. I'm changing my pick on the spot here. Packers, sign it in. Cook's not going to play. All right, go ahead, Lucas.
Yep, I'm going Packers here. I think they're another year under Matt LaFleur. They got the chemistry. Aaron Rodgers seems like just a different person, not even a player, just a different person in camp. So Packers here.
All right. Next game, Cam. We got Packers. I'm still on the Packers. We got Buccaneers at plus 155 versus the Saints at minus 175.
Yeah, the Buccaneers were the best team against the run last year, and they were last against the pass. Well, come in, Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, and Alvin Kamara. I'm going to go with the Saints. I think that they are going to be too much for this dream team first week, and I think Alvin Kamara is going to show why he wants that contract. He's in a contract year. I think he's going to absolutely go ballistic. He had 80 receptions last year, and I think he's going to get to 100, and he's going to show him, like, you're going to pay me. So I'm going with Saints with a chip on the shoulder of Alvin Kamara.
All right, I'm going to go on the opposite side. I'm going to go the Buccaneers. I think with this quote-unquote dream team, as we saw all across history, that it hasn't always performed well, i.e. the Eagles dream team, the Browns last year, but I'm a little more higher on the Buccaneers. I don't know if that's hype or not, but I think if they want a chance, they have to get off to a hot start and get this win against the Saints. I think the Saints might be a little bit better overall towards the long year. Maybe Buccaneers get that second place in the division. I don't know. I think it might be a close race, but I think the Buccaneers need to get off to a hot start and can't afford to take the L week 1 with this team.
Yeah, I'm with you on that thought, Mac, that the Bucs really have to get off to a hot start here. I think I'm going to pick the Buccaneers here to win the game. Because you said they had a lot to play for. If you start off week 1, you start getting oh my God, are they washed up or are they a bust? Especially if Mike Evans plays, I'm going Buccaneers.
All right, Cam. Next game, we got Bears at plus 135. Shout out to our friend Vince versus the Lions at minus 155.
Oh man, I gotta pick the damn Bears, man. I hate that, but I think the defense is going to be a little bit too much for Matt Stafford and them. I'm high on them this year, but I don't think you can get away with throwing the ball 40 to 50 times and winning an NFL game consistently. I think there's going to be a couple turnovers that are going to change this game, and then the Bears are just going to be able to control the clock more what their offense wants to cater to. So I think the Bears win this game against the
Damn,
Lions.
here I was hoping that this would be one of my games that I get a leg up on you, but I'm going to agree with you. I got the Bears this game.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Bears here. No home field advantage in Detroit. I think the Bears are a better team. Again, it's going to come down to the quarterback play. We'll see if Trubisky can do it, but I'm going Bears.
All right, and closing out the host picks, we got Sunday Night Football versus the Dallas Cowboys at minus 155 versus the Rams at 135. I messed up, but Cam, who do you got?
We'll put some music to that shit. I'm going. Dude, this sucks so bad. I hate this.
I tried to make these host picks a little difficult.
I'm going. It's not even this tough. It's the Cowboys, man. It's like to hear them at work every day talk about, oh, it's our Super Bowl year. Look, we beat the Rams, even though they didn't beat anyone good last year. But regardless of the contract with Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, this offensive line is just tough, dude. And they got all the weapons that they have, the Cowboys. They should win this game. If they don't, I'm never picking them again. So Cowboys beat the Rams.
I actually think so too. I think the Cowboys take this, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Rams win. I do like Sean McVay. I just think the Cowboys, like you said, have a little too much firepower to let this game slip away. But if they do, then man, you're never on panic mode after 1 week. But damn, that would be overreaction Monday for sure.
Yeah, I'm with the Cowboys here. I think the Cowboys have a really good squad. Regardless of this game, I think they win this game pretty easily.
All right, to close out week 1, we got Monday Night Football, Steelers, Giants, and then we got doubleheader, Titans, Broncos. Cam, let me stick with you. Are you high on any of these games? Are you really interested in watching them? Do you think it'll be close blowouts? Do you have any players you're really looking forward to seeing how they produce so you can calculate who you want to play in your lineups week 2? Just your overall impact for the Monday night games.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over them real quick. I think the Giants are gonna beat the Steelers. Like I said, I just think it has to come down to weapons. I think Roethlisberger didn't fix his turnover troubles. They didn't really add anything that's gonna be like wow, like to scare me. And the Giants got Bradbury, a top corner. I think it's Bradbury, a top corner in the league, cover corner. So I think they're gonna be able to neutralize Juju Smith over there. And I don't know if I'm super sold on Connor. So I'm going to go with the Giants to beat the Steelers on that. And then the Titans versus Broncos, I don't know. Honestly, I hope the Titans lose because they're in my division. But I don't really know how I feel about this game in a whole. I don't know if Drew Lock is the real deal. They got some running back weirdness over there with Melvin Gordon and Lindsey. So I'll go with the Titans because Von Miller's out, and I don't know if they're going to be able to stop the run. So Derrick Henry might run for 220 on them. So I'm going to go with the Titans on that side.
What you got, Lucas?
Yep, I'm going to go with the Titans as well for the exact reasons of Derrick Henry. That offense, I think they're going to control the pace, put too much pressure on Drew Lock to win it with his arm, which I think he could possibly do, but Titans is my pick.
All right. This is the Roster Lock podcast presented by Budget Slates. Make sure you log on to budgetslates.com and follow Budget Slates on Twitter to read the latest lineup information, plays, entire rosters. Also, be on the lookout for promos for premium membership, discounts, and free trials. Wink, wink. All right, closing out our week 1 podcast, we got the 2-minute drill. So put 2 minutes up on the clock. I'm going to give you guys a couple questions that I briefly came up. And remember, this is based on the game tonight, Thursday Night Football. We'll go in kind of the order that we have been. Cam, as soon as I ask the question, you take it. Try to take up as least amount of time, but get your point across. Then we'll throw it to Lucas, and then I'll move on to the next question. All right. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has plus 125 all-purpose yards. That's rushing and receiving. Go.
Yes, he does. The running backs for the Chiefs get a lot of I'm messing up. Get a lot of looks from Mahomes in that offense. Andy Reid is a mastermind in manufacturing that for them. So yes, he gets plus 125 all-purpose yards for the Chiefs.
I agree with Cam all the way. Same reasoning and everything. Plus 125 for sure.
Humble, but you retain possession. David Johnson has a rushing touchdown.
Book it.
Also book it.
All right. Deshaun Watson has 3+ touchdowns, either rushing or throwing.
Yeah, Chiefs defense ain't what they're known for. Yes, book that too.
Yeah. I think 3. I think they're all probably going to be. I want to say they're all going to be passing, but I think he has 3.
You're on the board for David Johnson and Deshaun Watson for combined touchdowns. All right, at least 3 combined turnovers for both teams.
No, I don't think it would be 3 combined turnovers. I say 2.
I think I think there will be 3. I think your first game, jitters, fumbles. I think there will be 3, exactly 3.
All right, last one I got for you. It's a little more complicated, so listen closely. We got for the Chiefs, Demarcus Robinson and McCole Hardman have a combined more receiving yards than any other single player, i.e. Edwards-Helaire, Tyreek Hill, or Travis Kelce.
Can
you say that again?
No.
Sorry.
So Demarcus
Yes.
Robinson and McCole Hardman have a combined more receiving yards than any other single player on the Chiefs, i.e. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, or Edwards-Helaire.
Combine. I mean, Harmon has some decent games. That's tough. But coming in with Helaire there now, I'm going to say no. I think the other guys have more. One of them. I don't know. One of them going to have more.
That's a good question. I was just trying to think about it. I am going to say yes, but only basically, I just think it'll be Mecole Hardman. I think he has the ability to pop off, a long touchdown here and there. So I think he'll carry it by himself. So I'll say yes.
All right, not bad in the 2-minute drill. You guys weren't prepared for this. A little bit of struggles. You moved the ball down the field and you settled for 3. No touchdown though. All right. Closing this podcast off. I mean, this is going to be our week 1 preview. We're going to be doing this on a weekly basis, covering all the games, the players that we like and whatnot. And then also early in the week, we're going to be doing a recap, which is going to be probably about half the time, and trying to go over the recap and basically the plays that went big and who we like for the following week, and just our overall outtake for each of those games. Guys, Cam, Lucas, you have any closing remarks before we end it here?
Not too much. Just make sure you guys go to the site, budgetslates.com. We're going to start adding some new stuff for the NFL season. And like we said, wink, there will be some type of promo going on. Let's just start winning some money, man. Let's have some fun and tune in for the recap in next week's episode.
Yeah, and tune in for when Lamar goes back-to-back MVPs. Starts this week.
Hell yeah. Football is back, guys. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Budget Slates, Thrive Fantasy. Make sure you follow Budget Slates on Twitter. That's budgetslates.com. Also, Thrive Fantasy, use the code SLATE. You can also follow this podcast at Roster Lock Pod on Twitter. For Cam, Lucas, I've been Mac. We will catch you next week, and we are so glad to have football back. We will see you next week. Have a good one.